Good evening there, friends. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Whoever, wherever, whenever this may be. If I upload it to YouTube. The last two videos I've made in the last couple days, I've just deleted after I made them. It just has kind of lost its luster to upload to YouTube now, but I decided that I would make this video because as I was considering coming out to make a video, I started thinking about our suffering and going through the hard times, and I'm just having a rough couple days, and so it's like I've been through much worse, and I have been through better, so it's always somewhere within that spectrum. And as I was coming out of my bedroom thinking about that, there was a song on in the background. I had it on random, and it was REM with Everybody Hurts. And I thought that was pretty funny because I actually had listened to that recently in the last week or so, and after many years of not listening to it, and it wasn't exactly one of my favorite songs, and many of you may or may not know it, but it was an 80s song by REM. And the premise is that there's all these people in their cars, and they get up out of their cars and walk away at the end of the video. And during the video, they pan around each person, and it shows their thoughts. And it's just about what I was thinking about, how we all go through hard times, and all these things kind of build up, and we just don't know what to do, what step to take. And it can make it hard, things pile up around us, it's several different things can really hit us. When things come in threes, they say, they come in a lot more than that. I'm a positive person by nature. I try to look at things with I don't like using the positive negative analogy because that's assuming that, there's some standard of what's positive and negative. It's more like the things that help me in life, I try to adhere to and use those principles to further my own happiness and those around me. And every year I become more aware of the mistakes I've made in the past and how I want to improve the future. But Everybody Hurts, and when that song was playing, I thought about music and how, I thought, it's funny, there's so much of the music, if you think, of course, there's so much music is not negative or depressing, but it has a message that's a person was hurt, or something that happened to a person that wasn't exactly a positive experience. And it seems like I wouldn't say most music is that way, but such a ratio of music is about bad experiences compared to how many actually happen, that it shows that that's what music is. It's our expression. Some of the best artists and some of the best musicians and bands, in my opinion, are have been through rough times. Same with the artists. They have had some traumatic event in their life which led them down that path to be a wild painter or a composer or whatever it might be. And it's not always the case, but those who do have life, hard times in life tend to express it through art and music if they can. And I do myself. During times when I'm stressed out, I tend to play more music, and I find myself writing songs on guitar. Lately I wrote one or two in the last month or so, but it's been a long time since I've really played. And the last time I wrote a couple songs because I was frustrated about something that was going. I wrote a song about kratom actually right during the last band scare a couple of years ago, and or the first, I should say, the first scare, and of course, all that's deleted now and gone. And I've been thinking about, why YouTube terminated my account, because they repeated that, I'm against guidelines and they won't restore my account. So I basically decided I'm not going to put any more energy into YouTube. I'll let them win. It's not about letting them win, and it's about not wanting to put my time into something that will just be deleted. I can make videos for my own posterity and maybe share down the road, or just share here and there, but I'm not going to put any time into like how-to and educational videos or anything on YouTube ever again, because it's just not worth it to me. So right after that song came, after I was thinking about, how music tends to deal with our negative emotions, on came Nirvana, and it was Kurt Cobain. And he was sitting there with all the people around him. It was the Nirvana Unplugged thing, and it was the MTV Unplugged. So he was sitting there, and he lights up a cigarette, and he's just kind of sitting there smoking, and he said something to the effect of, yeah, MTV probably wouldn't let me do that, or not about smoking, but about something else. And I just instantly thought about him and his position there, that you could see it in his eyes that, Kurt Cobain was obviously a depressed person that, had issues. The guy, there he was, like at his peak, and the MTV Unplugged, and you could just tell that he felt out of place. It just, his thing was rocking out. He played music, he wrote lyrics, and his lyrics were intense. And it wasn't for everyone, but I was, I grew up in that era. That was Nirvana, was one of my faves. So, our first band even covered Nirvana when we were like 14. But anyhow, we all grow up and learn about ourselves as we go. There was going to be a second part to this, but then I got sidetracked with thinking about music and everything. Of course. Oh yes, that Kurt Cobain. After I thought about that, I thought I'm grateful I'm not him. In other words, I'm grateful that I'm not some big-time YouTuber, let's say, with millions of subscribers that ends up, say, having the same problem with my channel, and then having to twist what I say and cater my shit to the bullshit of, the platform I'm on. And sure, I understand, fitting within certain guidelines, if you want to be advertiser-friendly, whatever you want to do. I just don't play the game. I can't stand it. I can't. I'm not the businessman type. I'm not the, ask for money type, and I'm not the kind who can just sit and put a shitload of money and time into something that I feel is like underappreciated. Like with YouTube, there's so many small YouTubers getting kicked off that have great content and have put in a lot of effort. So I want to see if my battery's dying here, because there's this weird light on the phone. It's the strangest thing. Well, I'll just talk. If it dies, it dies, right? I'm using my my cell phone because my camera's broken and all that. I was getting ready to buy a new one, and I wanted to start doing some how-to videos and whatnot. But now I'm just like, instead of seeing it as something negative, I'm seeing it as something like a positive change. And that was really my original intention, was to talk when I came out, and I was going to talk about how I feel about, when you're anxious and you're stressed out, or when, I should say when things are happening that, aren't cool, man, then no matter how much we try to hide it, we do have a little bit of anxiety inside. It bothers us, and we feel cheated or defeated or whatever it might be, depending on the situation. And we just have to get back up and go. It's okay to mourn for a little while. That's what we always, if you lose an important job or something that you've, it's hard to overcome things that we're used to. We get into these routines, but once we overcome it, we can move on and do new things. And I think that, for me, the YouTube thing is like, okay, what now? I could just, do I even want to start another channel? Do I even want to keep doing anything on the internet? I feel like with what's going on, and I was just talking to my neighbor about this, and she feels the same way. She's like, yeah, with this, since this whole net neutrality change, regardless of whether that's, a contributing factor or not, the point is that people are really starting to consolidate information, and they want to, I've been trying to argue against the conspiratorial side for so long, just to be the devil's advocate, so to speak. Say, hey, it's not all just people trying to censor, there is a lot of free speech still, but now it's actually going away. Now we have to actually be, afraid of what we say, and it's not just in the YouTube platform, it's in the business, in the industry. Like I was telling my neighbor, I was like, yeah, I can't even sell illegal herb because, credit card companies won't work with us as vendors, or that, it seems like no matter where you turn, the little guy's getting screwed. But we just got to get up and keep going, because you got one life to live. You can't sit and complain about it. You can't sit and whine about all the stupid bullshit that happens. But it's okay to vent, to get it out. I just want to, vent sometimes, and that's okay to do. And then you move on, I feel like I haven't quite vented yet. So maybe that's what this is, just kind of helping me to vent so I don't have to vent on anyone else. I definitely feel cheated, you know, but I've been prepared for whatever comes my way in life. It's like one of those things I try to pride myself on, is being ready for anything, saying, I'll take it as it comes, you know, whatever happens, happens. I can't change it, you know, so, but when your schedule changes and your routine changes, it's like, what now? Losing a job is the worst. Like when you're unemployed and you've been working for a long time, oh God, that's a really hard one, because at first it's like, oh, quick vacation, and then you're like, I'm so bored. And maybe that's why I don't buy into the idea that, you know, that there's a majority of these lazy Americans that are like mooching off the system, because I know a majority of people want to work and are trying to work. It's just that the work atmosphere out there is just trashed. I mean, that's a totally different story. I realized, you know, I was going to make a video about that, about the future of mankind, and where are we going with the loss of jobs, because people are panicking and they're trying to blame everyone else, but it's just systematic mechanization of our society. You just can't stop it until something takes out this, you know, the grid, a solar flare or whatnot. But in the meantime, we're trying to use the internet to get together as much as possible and to share our ideas, and that's being quashed by special interests, and that's a sad thing. So that's the end of my video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all maybe again, and take care now.